Welcome and thank you for joining us on the program at the Marina today. My name is Hope Orivri. We have the privilege of being joined today by Chief Isaac Jolapamo. He's the chairman CEO of Morlap Group of companies and the founding father of Nigerian Indigenous Shipowners Association. Today, Chief Jolapamo will be speaking with us on how hard hit the shipping industry was throughout 2020 while the pandemic ravaged the entire globe. And then he'll also be looking at what it takes and what Nigerian ship owners particularly have been doing when it comes to planning for life after active service in the shipping world. Chief, you're welcome on the program.
Thank you very much, Joy, for having me.
It's good to see you once again.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to you.
I wish you the same.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So now, to talk, we just want you to give us an insight to what it really looked like throughout 2020 when the pandemic hit the global space. What was it like for ship owners and shipping industry?
Well, I will first say that you have various threats in the shipping industry, and the hard hit of them, we don't practice that in our own climate here, i.e. where you have holiday boats. That is the area where you have the hard hit because of the volume. But when you talk of particularly tanker ships or service boats, the contact is limited. This operates mostly offshore, and you don't. The only area where you can think of issues are the crew change, because they have to interface in the process of crew change, and that has kept most seafarers at sea for longer than expected. But I think overall it has not been a disastrous situation. I will put it that for shipping. It's not disastrous. But we have other areas that are begging for attention. Much more. In our own climate, than how it affected the global space.
Well, fine. I've heard some people talk about the fact that shipping still had to be kept on because you have merchant ships that had to make supplies across the world. But they dealt the issue of crew change was a very difficult one. How did we see it? How did we receive it in this part of the world?
It has not really affected us that much in our own climate. The ships that does international trade, if they want to change crew outside their domain, then there is a problem. There is no problem here in changing crew within your domain.
Now, with the pandemic throughout 2020, it hasn't gone, but at least there are rays of hope. How did you see the outlook eventually for shipping? And then how do you see it going for 2021?
In the world, there is still prospect. You still have new bids. They are still building new vessels. But in our own environment, I would say we have not done much. The growth, it is not the pandemic that is affecting the growth. The growth has always been affected with other
factors. With the confidence that nothing was really disrupted in the shipping subsector, what are the expectations for the indigenous ship owner, Nigerian ship owner, for 2021 in terms of more engagement and larger businesses?
People are being sensitized to really begin to look inward. And I will suppose that we are getting some feelers that people will begin to cooperate, or people in position of authority. Because I give you an example, and I told you the last time. When the NNPC took off, we realized that all the powers was rested on the 7 majors of those days. There was no means to take bunkers for the ships that the NNPCs were going to charter. NNPC is unknown, so they have to take vessels on charter and pay in advance. Those are the issues that, but the people in there then encouraged Nigerians to say there is an opening here. You Nigerians should come and take. And we find a few people. It's true that shipping is capital intensive. But of course, if you have a job to do and you are professionally qualified, you don't even necessarily to be professionally qualified, but you have the heart of steel.
You have the courage to do that.
Yeah, I call it the heart of steel. Nigerians came into the place, and it was going to grow like that, but something happened along the line, and those things were jettisoned. And it's the noise over the years.
Now you said they started some sort of campaign to encourage Nigerians to look inward.
Yes.
Can you let us know what specific things probably they are putting forward to attract these people so that they could look inward to say this is what's giving a try?
There is nothing that is really special that you should do to do this or to get this. It is like a service to the country. Because if you can grow, the last time I told you about somebody, when we talk of creating wealth, that 2 ship owners came together to form a bank, but they cannot run it because they don't know they are left from their right in running banks, and the bank was going to go down, and they got a turnaround person who turned the place around, and even touching lives across Africa and the world today is part of what we are talking about.
Okay, so if you want to talk of or look at touching lives and creating wealth, specifically through the shipping subsector, what should the nation begin to do now? Or are we on course? Are we fine?
We are not on course because we have not started in the right direction.
Okay, now so let's look at
the right direction. If we are going to develop shipping development has to be the bedrock. It is supposed to be in the front burner.
Now, if you talk of shipping development, what should it entail?
We know our ship requirements. Or in 5 years or in 10 years, this country should own so number of tankers of this size, of that size, of that size. This country should own cargo carriers of this size or this size. Until we have that on the drawing board, then we will know that we have actually started planning to have a maritime or a shipping sector that we have lived.
But the federal government had initiated a move towards getting, re-establishing the national fleet.
I'm a member of the committee.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you that, I know.
But there is more to it. There must be the government's will to make it happen. Will to make it happen in the sense that if you have a national fleet, you must have cargo that fleet is going to be taking.
But Nigeria has cargo.
And we have cargo. But what about the access to the cargo? Nigeria has always have cargo. But what about access to that cargo? So certain things must give way to make it happen. Either some policies that are not friendly to that development or something. Something must give way to make it. Today, it is only when we stop putting the cart before the horse that we are going to get an answer to all what we have been searching for.
That means, are you saying we are not doing some things right? And if we are not, what are those things? And then what kind of advice would you give for the government or for whosoever is directly involved or concerned to begin to take on?
If we are going to have what you call national fleets,
yes,
it's very simple. You can have people with experience. They can I mean, not everybody will want to work with everybody, but you will find like minds that want to work together. Give them something with which to trade. I mean, I'm not saying give them the ship. Give them the business that they are going to do. I mean, if you recollect when this committee first started and the minister was very interested in it, it was because the PIL, this company, that the company was almost also going down, but not many of us knew. But it was an opportunity for the company to be buoyant again, if only the conditions are right for them to come and partner. But the conditions are not right. Until that condition is right, and the condition is just the cargo, and we are having issues on leaving it. It's like you give somebody a goat, and you are still holding on to the rope that is tying the neck of the goat. If the man wants to take the goat away, the goat, you are most likely to strangle the goat in the process.
So I think if we just say it clearly as it is, If Nigeria has the cargo, and then there are arrangements to have indigenous ship owners at least have access to begin to take part in its shipments, and that will help the establishment of the fleet to keep working, to be active, and then make a meaning.
So, some people misconstrue the idea of what's supposed to take place. Okay. It is not, we are not talking of a national fleet like the NNSL or the one that came after the NNSL. We are talking of groups of people, of Nigerians, that pool their resources, financial and technical, together to have a national flag that trades with Nigerian flag, but should have access to either dry or wet or container or whatever.
Okay, now there's something I want to clarify here. If it's about having private owners, ship owners, pool resources together to be able to establish the national fleet, are we saying here that the federal government or the government may not necessarily have to put in funds to make that happen?
They don't. It could happen without the government putting in funds. What they need to put, shipping something, like I said, is standing on a tripod. The person who has a steel hat is one leg. The finance is another. The cargo you are going to carry, which is God the Father, the Son, God the Holy Ghost, is the cargo. If it's missing, there is. But if you have God the Holy Ghost, God the Father naturally comes in, because you will be able to raise money when you have something to show. It is now going to depend that you are not given a cobbler the money to go and buy ship, or given a carpenter, or somebody who claimed to be, but looking at the, how will I put it, the track record of the people that are involved.
Okay, I think that should be clear enough. We've talked over time about this, and I think Nigerians are hopeful that someday soon they will actually hit the result of all these years of trying to establish a national fleet that will begin to work. Now let's look at the flip side. For ship owners or players in the sector, what does it take, or how has it been, probably planning for life after active work in the subsector? How has it been?
Well, I will put it this way. We have the first generation of Nigerian ship owners who either have one vessel, and we can even take the Abiolas, the Yaraduas, what is his name again, as one of the Fajr miracles. There's not been any success story in shipping. I always tell people that it's only in Nigeria that we are struggling. South of Sahara, the other one that has water boundary with Europe is the multiplier effect of the European something that touched them. But south of Sahara, Nigeria, I'm proud to say Nigeria is one place where we have, our people have from day one been taking the bull by the horn. They've realized the importance of the water that we have. But of course, the inconsistency in the government policies has not helped the development. So, like what happens in Europe, particularly, and Asia now, where you have continuity, where you can see a shipping company that has existed for a century, and these are family business still going on. They may not have 10, 20 vessels, but they could be having like 2, 3, 4, 5 trading on the coastal waters. That is the specialty of that. So it runs. We don't have such. But generally, when you make money in shipping, it is advisable to put it elsewhere for your old age, because shipping is
keeps gulping money.
Not only keeps gulping money, but there are levels that you may not be able to stand the shock of some
demands.
Things, yeah, of what is going to happen, particularly in our own area where we are doing cowboy shipping, all commerce thing. So people naturally watch out and see where they can go and cool off. People have made attempts to see that they change batting, but it has not worked much. I will not say it has not worked at all. It has not worked much, and it's because of the inconsistency in the policies that we make or the government make for some good reasons.
Yeah.
It's now in the open how much we are losing by not developing our in-house shipping. Once the story starts getting out, in the past we used to say we are operating in the trenches. Some of your people were with us in the trenches, and at a point in time we came out of trenches and we were shaking government officials, and we are not fighting again. That's a phase. This is another phase, and the information is now more in the open. Kudos to you people in the media now, because there are so many platforms which gives you information about what is happening, unlike in the past. So if everybody knows that there is one day it will happen.
Okay.
I hope people like me are still.
One day indeed it will happen. It will happen, and operators in the sector and everybody concerned will eventually be happy. Thank you once again, Chief, for making time to speak with us.
You are welcome.
We appreciate it.
Always welcome.